Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Friday morning and will today be the day that we go on verdict watch for the Letitia Stout trial. And I am hoping and praying on everything that's holy that the jury do the right thing and they've seen right the way through Letitia's lies. The prosecution have played an absolute blinder. I can't fault them. The judge has been great. The defence has been terrible, which is good. But I can imagine appeals and Lord knows what. And I will be watching the trial over on Sleuth Mom's channel. I've been over there watching the trial daily, so I'll be in the chat there at some point if you want to come over and have a chat. Alright, so in today's video we're going to talk about the Summer Wells case. And this is a direct follow-on from the video, I think it would have been the last video I made about Summer's case, about the land and things that Jodisue said when she had that ruckus with Don Wells. Well, there's been some follow-up on that, and there's been some additional information that's come out over the last couple of days. So we're going to catch right up to date on what has been said by Don and Candus and a little bit of Jodisue. Let's go. Let's start with Prayer Garden's channel, and Donnie Wells was there on the panel. Candus was angry in the background. Don had to leave and then came back later. So this is early on in the conversation. The links to all of the clips that I'm going to be playing, as always, will be in the description box. First of all, I want to just mention this thing that Don said. This picture here, this, of Summer asleep and Don was crying. And he's explained this before, but I'm going to just remind y'all about what he said about this picture.
You got me holding her right there? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I won't lie to you. I'll tell the truth. Yeah. I knew at that moment the time was close at hand. And I don't know how I knew, and I can't explain it. I wasn't told in words or anything like that. But I knew the time was close at hand, and I actually had tears in my eyes. The picture might not show it.
No, we can see you're crying.
Really?
You can see it.
Yeah, I mean, he can take it or leave it, but that's the truth. I mean...
Well, was it the same angel that had come to you 6 months before?
Probably. I mean, I don't know. I can't explain it.
Now, we could call this intuition, we could call this psychic ability, we could call this fear, that he loves Summer so much that his greatest fear in the world was losing her. Or it could be that he knew the family were in trouble. He knew they were in trouble. He knew that people were going to come and get her. We don't know. He says he can't explain it. He said it several times. He said he had a dream, told Chris McDonough this, that he had a dream and Summer said she was down the road. Was she taken down the road? Look, I've had some experiences. I don't know whether I'd call them psychic, but I've had some experiences. To be honest, most of the psychics on YouTube I have no time for whatsoever. There's so many frauds out there, but sometimes there are things that happen to us that we can't explain. And is this one of those times, or is it much more down to earth, so to speak? And Don knew that something was going to happen to Summer because of the choices that maybe he or maybe Candus made. Is it those wrong friends? And Candus named a name that we've never heard of before, so stay tuned. But later on in this conversation, Prayer Garden asked Don about the land issue, because in that ruckus with Jodisue and Don Wells, Jodisue let it slip that Mark, who is the daughter of Mary Gold, who is the sister of William Gold, who died in 2007, and he was Don's stepfather. So Prayer Garden asked him about this, and this is quite a long clip. So don't copyright strike me, Prayer Garden, because this is fair use, but I'm going to let it play through because it's very, very interesting.
Mary and her husband, I can't remember his name, worked for my mother a lot because my mother was pretty old and disabled. She had a lot of problems.
Right.
So mom hired a lot of people to help her and everything. And my mother told her that, yes, if you work for me, mom paid them hourly. Mom felt like she was wronged. She told me. My mother confided in me. She felt like she was robbed in so many different ways. Mom sold her that property. They built that little house that they have up there on the hill and everything. She sold that property to John just below our property. I mean, she was the one where Bullhorn Betty was down there screaming in the driveway, and then you could hear her scream. He was going through, therapy at that time, and they couldn't afford it. I guess.
Well, Mary was real sick at that time, and that's why Don Sherfey came down there and jumped onto him. He asked him to please quit because Mary was real sick, and he just couldn't take it, and she had already gone in and out of the hospital, and they were afraid with all the commotion and everything she was going to end up back in the hospital. And that's why he was down there. He wasn't down there to cause any trouble. He was just down there trying to get all of that racket to get out of there because of the people like, the man with leukemia and Mary, and there's a lot of older people in that community that can't handle that kind of, controversy going on down in there, right?
That's right. That's true. But Don Sherfey did have a whole lot to say about me, and he don't even know me, but we'll forgive him at this point and just go on.
So let's just unpack that a little bit. There's a little bit more, just in a minute or two, and we'll play that in a second, but let's just unpack that a little bit. So Don's mother, Karen, and William, who is known as Bill, sold Mary Gold the land that she now lives on. And they also sold a parcel to someone called John that has died. In the dim and distant past, there was more land on Ben Hill and Simpson Road that was owned by the Gold family. Now, Bill died in 2007, and Karen was very sick and disabled, and Mary's family were helping out to look after her. This is what Jodisue was saying, right? They conflated two different families here in this conversation. So let's be clear, it was John that died, different parcel of land, different family. Mary died last year, and the dispute is between Mary Gold and the Wells, because she feels that the Wells shouldn't have had that land. When the Heels on the Ground people were there in December 2021, and Don Sherfey Sr. came along, and Don says he hardly knows him. But was it the case that Mark, Mary's daughter, and Don Sherfey were promised that land, as Jodisue said? And Don seems to confirm it. Listen to this.
Yeah, all that property belonged to my mother. She bought a lot of property years ago. Do you want me to get off there?
No, not at all.
No, I'm talking to my wife. My wife's so upset. She's all like, baby, I was playing.
What is Candus all upset about?
What are you upset about? Here. What are you upset about? I don't know if she won't talk to me. Anyway, what's going on? Okay, yeah, my mom sold all that property, or she bought all that property years ago.
So that was your mother's money that she bought that property with. It wasn't Mr. Goat's property.
Yeah, it belonged to my mother and Mr. Goat. They were married.
Okay, here's what I want to ask you. When your mother married Mr. Goat, did he already live there?
No. Mom bought that property and
So your mother and Mr. Goat bought that property together during their marriage?
yes.
Oh, okay. So...
Well, we can just check the land deeds, can't we? We can just check them, can't we?
She could sell it, leave it, do anything she wanted with it.
Absolutely.
So
That's true, she could.
why is people saying that it was supposed to go to old Mr. Goat's niece?
To Mary, or his sister Mary?
To Mary's daughter.
Well, my mom kind of led her along. Okay, my mom felt like she was doing her wrong and adding too many hours for what she was working for.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Right.
So she figured. Well, you tell her. I guess Candus has something to say to you. No, you're not going to talk.
So they go on to talk about what had been said on another channel. Candus was upset, she was interfering, and they talked off it. But isn't that interesting? Don's mother led them along because she thought she was being wronged. So this has been a long-standing dispute between the Goads and the Wells. Don's mother could rightly give that property away to anyone. And it does seem that she'd kind of promised it to Mark and Sherfey. Is that anything to do with Summer's disappearance? It's a long time ago, that's 2011. It's a long-standing dispute. There's a lot of animosity there. Is it to do with Summer's disappearance, or is it just that they'll refuse to help? I don't know. But moving on. This is Jodisue, and she's got some interesting things to say as well. This is in the last few hours. Candus named a name that we've never heard of before. Listen to this.
hits to the head, he put this particular person in a coma. Tossed about this line. I'm not going to touch on that much more than that. But what he is not is some person like Candus just made him out to seem. And I don't know what the fuck Candus is thinking. I really don't.
All right, so here's the Times News, and this is from June 20th, 2018. Hawkins man accused of putting drinking buddy in coma, charged with aggravated assault. Well, he looks like a kindly soul, doesn't he? That is terrifying. That is one terrifying dude. A Hawkins County man accused of throwing his drinking buddy out of a car earlier this year, putting the victim in a coma and possibly causing permanent brain damage, was arrested this week on a sealed indictment warrant. Wayne Douglas Morlock, 44, of 131 Harris Hollow Road, which is about 4.5 miles from 110 Ben Hill, was indicted June the 1st by a Hawkins County grand jury on one count of aggravated assault stemming from an alleged attack that occurred on March 21st. Hawkins County Sheriff's Office Detective Keith Long said Morlock admitted to punching Jeffrey Adams in the head with the back of his hand 5 or 6 times that night while they were driving along Van Hill Road in Beach Creek. However, police suspect that Adams was thrown from the moving vehicle due to the severity of his injuries. So they were drinking and kept putting his hand on Morlock's arm and laughing and wouldn't remove his hand. So you're not going to remove your hand from someone's arm, so you put them in a coma. All right. So this is definitely the right dude. So aggravated assault is a Class C felony, punishable by 3 to 6 years for a standard offender. Morlock has previous robbery and aggravated assault convictions on his record, which could enhance sentencing if he is found guilty. Is this the dude that Candus accused of being a child molester? If this dude's not in jail right now, then he's not going to be that happy, is he? So what was he doing round at the wells? Or is Candus confusing him with someone else? I don't know. Is this anything to do with Summer's disappearance? I've no idea. But this is a name that I've not heard of before. But they're all related. The Morlocks are related to everyone. All right. Finally, let's put a little bit of sanity back into the situation, shall we?
You know, my friend Candace Cooley, her son Dylan Rounds, passed away. Right, exactly.
So Don's here. He's been in the hospital, apparently, not been well. So he's talking to Doug, no thanks. And Doug was talking to him about Candace Cooley, Dylan Round's mother. You know, how stoic and just amazing Candace Cooley has been in getting justice for Dylan. And I think Doug was using her as an example to spur Don on to do better for Summer. Listen to this.
And it'll help, this is taking the necessary steps, Don, and that's why it was so important in the past, where I'm like, you know what, and I've always told you this, and I can stand by it, and I have proof of it. Stay offline, stay off these people's channels. Just get healthy. Do you right now, right? Because I know how bad you came online, and I know that, my friend Candace Cooley, her son Dylan Rounds, passed away due to some crazy Jim Brenner dude that just shot and killed him for no reason. Yeah. Now, she didn't just curl up in a ball. She didn't tuck in a corner, Don. She didn't drink and drug up. She stood up, right? She took that and went head on with it. And I want you to be able to learn that, because like me and you, we're addicts in the past. Like, the first thing you want to do is almost give up, right? Or turn to the easy way, which I don't go easy way no more, Don. I tried that at first, and where'd that get me? Huh. I felt, man, bro, at first it was so bad. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't know what to do. I lost my mind. You told me you were going to kill yourself, Don. You told me on the phone, and I freaked out. Oh, shit. I didn't know what to do. I was like, do I call the cops right now? Do I call the medical? And I'm like, this guy's about to get pulled over and get arrested. I didn't know that, but you did. So at least you were safe. You know what I mean? I was like, at least he's safe. Well, if I said that, I'm sorry, because I wouldn't do that. That's a tough thing to deal with, Don, on my end, because I couldn't do anything about it, and I saw the destruction of 10 hours live streaming and ending on Molly Golightly, and Candace and you just having it out, like big time throwing her in the punch. The way you came up here tonight, even though everyone was ready for you to just have like they wanted to see you fail, I think you did a great job. You came up, and I'm glad when you hold yourself up and well. But let's keep worrying about Don right now. And again, Candace can slip in sooner or later, but like,
Right now it's Dawn and you. Like, we need you, Dawn, and we need you healthy because we need to find Summer.
Is that Don has like flipped his lid on a channel, and I don't know whether it's been taken down. I can't find it. If anybody saw it, let me know what he said. Apparently he was using the N-word. I don't know which channel it was on, but yeah, are they about to self-destruct again? You know, when Doug was talking to Don, I think he said some kind words, and I think Don is holding up much better than Candus. Don talked about that Candus shuts down, and that maybe one day she'll come online and tell the truth. I don't know where this is going. I don't know what all of this means, but let's look into some of this stuff. Stay tuned. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I've been Michelle. Hope you're well. I'll see you in the next video. It's goodbye from Miss Tillington and Miss Cassie Springer. Bye, guys.